what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it.
There has been a lot of hype about the wide receiver group, and I get it, rightfully so. I think it is by far your most talented, your most deep group on the entire team. Just look at it. Look at your returners. Your returners from a year ago, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton Jr., Xavier Thomas, Kyle Parker, Jelani Watkins, Kylan Billiot. I mean, there's so many guys out there. Your transfers, Nick Anderson, Barian Brown, Dustin Hill. To me, Nick Anderson has the ability to be the wide receiver one on this team. Not everybody walking through that building is 6'5", 215 pounds. Nick Anderson has that. Now, he didn't play last year, but 2 years ago, he was a borderline 1,000-yard receiver. He had double-digit touchdowns in an Oklahoma offense that, with Dylan Gabriel at the helm, is not too dissimilar to what LSU did last year. You have Barian Brown coming in, one of the fastest guys in the SEC. There was a list came out that said Barian Brown is actually the fastest guy in college football, at least to a couple people. I kind of think it's his teammate Jelani Watkins, but it doesn't matter. You have an embarrassment of riches there. Destin Hill's coming in, Louisiana native from Florida State. He's been super injured his entire career at Florida State. Still has an injury right now. Didn't practice in that spring scrimmage, but by all accounts, Brian Kelly, other members of the coaching staff, they rave about Destin Hill. They talk about how he could be a potentially big piece to this offense. I think you did a pretty good job in high school recruiting as well. Teron Francis is a guy I love. He had an excellent senior season right here in Louisiana. He's a big-bodied guy. I think he's ready to go. You have Phillip Wright coming in the fall. I get it. I get the hype. But the position I want to look at that I don't think we're talking about enough is tight end. And I somewhat understand it. I mean, you lose, literally statistically the best tight end in your school's history in Mason Taylor. Then Kamorian Pimpton enters the transfer portal. You basically return Trey'Dez Green. That was it. The staff did an excellent job in replacing Mason Taylor. Again, Green's the only guy you had returning. You had Bauer Sharp and Donovan Green from the transfer portal, and you signed J.D. LaFleur out of high school. Let's kind of look at those four guys. We'll start with J.D. LaFleur. A big-bodied tight end, to say the least. Right now on the LSU spring roster, J.D. LaFleur is listed at 6'7", 263 pounds. J.D. LaFleur has the body to play right away. He was one of the nation's top high school tight ends, 3-star prospect out of Sulphur High School. He was ranked as the number 12 overall player in Louisiana by Rivals. In the on-3 composite, he was ranked 18 in Louisiana. The guy can play. A top 25 tight end nationally. We know all about J.D. LaFleur if you follow football here in the state of Louisiana. Now, I don't know how much J.D. is going to play this year because he's a freshman and because LSU did such a good job in the transfer portal grabbing a pair of tight ends to pair with Donovan Green. With Trey'Dez Green. Speaking of Trey'Dez Green, Donovan Green, one of the guys you brought in from the transfer portal. Another big-bodied blocking tight end from Texas A&M. Now, in 2022, under Jimbo Fisher, he was involved in this offense in the passing game. He had 22 catches, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last year, under Mike Elko, they kind of changed the scheme a little bit. He falls out of favor. He played in 8 games, did not have a catch. Again, I don't think that's his fault as much as I just think it's a change in coaching staff. It's a change in scheme. Jimbo brought in this guy because he fit what Jimbo Fisher wanted to do offensively, not what Mike Elko wanted to do offensively. I get why Donovan Green entered the portal. I get why he didn't play a ton. I understand that. I'm not holding that against Donovan Green. What I do know is he's a multi-year player in the SEC, and he's been productive. As far as Trey'Dez Green goes, probably one of, if not the most physically gifted player on your entire team. 6'7", 245 pounds, and he runs like a receiver. In 13 games last year, he had 13 receptions, 101 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And you're probably thinking to yourself, man, I thought he was more productive than that. I thought the numbers would have been a little bit more eye-popping. That's kind of pedestrian. He was playing behind Mason Taylor a lot. I mean, think about it. Mason Taylor rarely came off the field. In the bowl game against Baylor, the game that Mason Taylor did not play in, Trey'Dez Green, 6 receptions, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's what Trey'Dez Green can do for you as an every down tight end. Now, I have said this all offseason long. I'm going to continue to say it until I am proven otherwise. I think Trey'Dez Green lines up more out wide as a bigger slot receiver than with his hand in the dirt on the edge of the line as that traditional tight end. And that's fine because you got a traditional tight end, and I think you went and got a dang good one. Bauer Sharp out of Oklahoma, which, first off, let's compliment Bauer Sharp. Excellent last name. I mean, I would say there's not a last name on the team better than Bauer Sharp.
I can't put my finger on it. Why, man? Some about him.
Well, I was telling you during break. Yeah. I'm not saying this is a coincidence. I'm not saying it's not. Your tight end last year's last name was Taylor. Your tight end this year's last name is Sharp.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some sort of connection. But I'm not saying there's not. You cannot prove that there is not.
I want to know this, though. How soon are you about to get this Bauer Sharp jersey? We've been talking about it for a while now.
Oh, game one.
Game one?
Game one.
Game one? Okay. Wait, chat, y'all hold him to this because I'm not going to be here. Y'all hold him to that. He better have that jersey.
Nobody hold me to that. Nobody hold me to that. Don't do that. Okay, anyways, Bauer Sharp. I think he's been one of the biggest winners in spring practice. Everyone continues to rave about this guy. His versatility is incredible. I mentioned I think he can be that traditional tight end. He doesn't have to be. He has the athletic ability to do pretty much anything you want. You go out there to spring practices. He's taken some direct snaps, lined up in the shotgun. He's done some end arounds. He's lined up in the slot and ran slant routes. He has been everywhere. As versatile as Trey'Dez Green is, Bauer Sharp's pretty versatile as well. If you remember, this is a guy that came into college as a quarterback. The trick play that everyone likes to laugh at with the tight end throwing the pass for Oklahoma that was picked off, that was Bauer Sharp. Sure, he's not going to throw any passes for you. Let's hope not, but that's the kind of athlete he is. He came into high school as a quarterback. You transitioned him into tight end. He can run. He can catch. He's got the body to be a blocker. I think he's a matchup problem because, again, similar to Trey'Dez Green, you can kind of line him up anywhere. He was Oklahoma's leading receiver last year. 42 catches, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. Donovan Green, he's going to have a role on this team. J.D. LaFleur, I think, can be built into a really solid tight end one day in his LSU career. But as far as 2025 goes, the combination of Bauer Sharp and Trey'Dez Green, I think that could be one of the best tight end duos, not just in the SEC, but in the entire country. I think this tight end room, the most underrated group on the entire team. I'm very excited to see how they use it. I think you're going to see a lot of times where Bauer Sharp and Trey'Dez Green are on the field at the same time. I think they should be because I think they're both versatile and I think they are both matchup nightmares. We talk about how you're better at wide receiver than you were a year ago, as hard as that is to believe. You can't replace Mason Taylor, but depth-wise, top to bottom, this tight end room is probably better than it was a year ago. Mason Taylor's great, but behind him, you had a freshman in Trey'Dez Green who was still kind of learning the position, and you had Kamorian Pimpton who struggled to block, who ultimately entered the transfer portal. You have Bauer Sharp, Trey'Dez Green, Donovan Green, J.D. LaFleur, all guys that can do a lot of things for you. They can catch the ball, they can block. Can you turn Trey'Dez into that more traditional tight end? I don't know, but I got to be honest, I don't think you need to. I think with Donovan Green, Bauer Sharp, J.D. LaFleur, you got enough big-bodied tight ends that can block. Let Trey'Dez Green go stand out there in the slot on the edge, be a matchup nightmare, throw him the ball, let him do his thing. Either way, whichever tight end does ultimately emerge in this room, I still think it's going to be a mixture. I think this might be the most underrated room on the entire team.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.